So this is part 2 of Breakfast with Curly. I'm opening up my kitchen so I can have a guest in and we can talk about finances, food, fitness, mindset, business, whatever. So anything that feel related to you and whatever you want to find out. So let me know what you think, and if there's a topic you want to hit, let me know. So here it is. I think for me it has become more about has been just like a consistent journey of working on myself.
Yeah.
My thoughts, my feelings, my emotional trauma, seeing a therapist,
Yeah.
spiritual work.
Yeah. But you're doing the work. People don't even do that much.
Yes.
You know? So like I talk to myself all the time, out loud. Like I don't like I'll be in the car and I'll like be hit with like a wave of anxiety and I'll be like, what's wrong? I don't know, I just have anxiety. Like what caused that? Out of these things, and I think that the fact that you're kind of like doing the internal work like that, I think that is like the beginning.
What are maybe 2 things that helped you really kind of develop into the person you are, coming from that owning? I feel like you own your Central American identity everywhere you go.
Yeah, everywhere.
What are maybe 2 things that have really helped you kind of own that?
I think learning and reading and meeting other people who are like us and being like, excuse me, I'm about to burp right now. There we go. When you edit that, you should like cut like.
You come and zoom in?
Yeah, zoom in.
It's great because I think it's rolling, but I was gonna say, okay, now I like where we're going, but there's a lot of story. But I think now, okay, I wanna get to
Tell me whatever you want me to, you guide me.
Okay, I think I like it, and we talked a lot about our story.
Yeah.
How do you maintain your Central American identity wherever space you go?
Yeah.
And also another question I wanna ask you is, how do you maintain your spiritual connection?
Well, I feel like for me, like right off the bat, the first 3 things that I would say as far as how I maintain being proud of my Central American identity in like predominantly white spaces, it can go into like, the first thing would be the way that I dress, right? So usually I'm wearing something that honors my culture. So like I would say today, like I'm wearing like my escapulario, and these are all things that my abuelita and my tias put on me. It's part of our culture, it's part of our tradition in our family as protection, and they're like, never take it off. So I never take them off. So like the other day they were, I was doing the show with E, and they were like, what do you wear at the airport? And I'm like, I wear a giant scarf, a giant jacket, but my scarf has a giant Vida de Guadalupe in the front. And I cover my face, and so when I sleep, all you see is like my eyes and like La Virgen. Okay. So I'm like on brand, you know? And nobody knew what La Virgen de Guadalupe was. So I'll do that. So sometimes people will be like, oh, I'll say cuídate. I always say cuídate when I leave people. And cuídate means like take care of yourself. And so I'll talk to a lot of people and they'll be like, I'll be like, oh, okay, adios, cuídate. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, I'm sharing a piece of myself. I'm okay with being like, I don't know that word. Like my friend was like, yeah, I'm just feeling like a little lackadaisical. And I'm like, what is that word? What does that mean?
Yeah, never heard of that.
And I'm like so excited to learn a new language. But even like in español, cuando alguien dice, oh, me empalagué. What does that mean? What does empalagué mean? Like, and now, you know, of course I know these words, but it's so beautiful because we kind of are in this space of like, ni de aquí, ni de allá.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you, what is a morning routine that you do in the morning kind of that helps you
center myself?
Center yourself? And what is the morning routine you can share with?
I think my morning routine is I love to get dressed, and I love to put my jewelry on, and I love to present. I like to show up for myself. So like if I look in the mirror, I like to be like, oh, we did it today, we did well. So like the first thing for me is if I'm like, I'm not in the mood to wear like this color shirt, but I am in the mood to wear a black sweater. But sometimes I'll be like, oh, but I haven't worn the shirt, I bought it, I should just wear it. Like, it's just sitting here. Y me lo pongo, and the whole day I'm like, I don't want to be wearing this shirt. Like, I don't. So I'm like, show up for yourself visually, make your hair, fucking brush your teeth, put makeup on, or whatever you need to do, or don't put makeup on, however you feel beautiful. Music, so like, music that makes me really happy, music that makes me want to dance, music that makes me feel like I'm on a motherfucking runway. Music that makes me feel like I'm a dancer or a singer. So I'll be in my car like doing this kind of in the, you know, like pretending I'm like a Posh Spice from Swiss Girls. And then I'll listen to music that calms me down, that brings down the frequency of my spirit and my energy. and then just kind of allow myself to sink into that. And then as I fall asleep, I think about who I want to have sex with.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes me feel good all the time.
I'm like, yeah, he's really hot. I hope I dream about that.
Yes, and then visualize it.
Yes,
it happen.
exactly.
What would you tell Curly, younger Curly?
Oh my god, I think I would be like, I'm happy. Stay safe. I'm happy that you're living it up. I'm happy that you're being a hoe. Keep being a hoe. Keep being the best. Like, I'm happy that you live this life. Live it. You will inevitably hurt people. You will absolutely fall over yourself. You're gonna get so close to the fire that you'll get burnt out. There will be echoes, there will be repercussions. It'll get really ugly, but the result will be so beautiful and so worth it. And when you move into other spaces and you tell people, I have been so broke that I walk downtown LA looking for food on the streets. I've been so broke that like I had 87 cents in my account. And a person on the street was like, do you have $1? And I remember being like, when I said I don't, I meant I don't. I don't even have $1.
Yeah.
And then it was just like a thing of like, but that'll make it so that it's when you tell people, now I have this, now I'm doing this, now I'm posting this, and now I'm hanging out over here. It's like, oh shit. Like, you know how sometimes people will go on stage and be like, I promise you, and dreams do come true.
Yes,
and
yes.
you're like, But I'm like, look, it's just like, be kind, remove your ego, focus, work, put in the work, and then just do it and have fun while you're doing it.
What advice would you give? What do you think someone who's queer and Latino wants to hear, would be really useful in terms of health and fitness, in terms of health and wellness? And I'm thinking about someone who identifies as gay, bi, queer, Latino in a city from like LA City. Yeah. Someone was born in the city of LA. Yeah. Maybe someone was born in urban San Antonio, San Francisco.
I always say that like coming out as queer is one thing. Figuring out who you are as a queer person is a whole nother ballgame. You know what I mean? And that can be said about, I think, our Latinidad as well. And so I think that leaning into both of those identities, learning about them as much as you can, understanding that the first gay civil rights movement happened in LA and not New York. Like, people talk about Stonewall a lot, but it happened at Le Barcito in Silver Lake, Echo Park.
I didn't know this.
So it's like, it was a big thing, and that's our movement. And I believe it was like POC people.
You have visualized a lot of successful things in your career.
Yeah.
How have you also used visualizations to bring success in your personal life and your internal life?
Well, I do it when you're making me do fucking planks.
Yes.
And you're making me do like 20 push-ups or whatever. I just visualize. I visualize everything. So when you're making me do my plank, I'm like, like what am I gonna look like? What is this gonna look like? This is all worth it. Like, just breathe, breathe, breathe. And then when you're making me do my push-ups, I'm like, my arms, they're gonna get big. I'm gonna have big arms. Like, visualize big arms. When you make me run, I'm like, what do I say? I'm like, I'm pretending I'm at a treadmill in my house and that's my pool.
Yes,
because there's a pool in front of the treadmill. So I'm like, that's my pool. We're in my house. You're at my house today. You're here. Like, I try to visualize like what I want my life to look like, how I want our lives to intertwine and grow together. But I also do it in the way that I dress, the way that I look, the way that I do my hair. Like, that's why my look has changed so dramatically from every like 6 months, I would say, every 8 months. Like, you're just like, what? Deny you anything, or they don't want to be a part of your life, or they don't want to be anything. I'm always like, I'm just gonna get better. I'm just gonna get more successful. I'm gonna get more attractive. My health is gonna get better. I'm gonna keep growing.
I love it. And very last question. I think we're really good. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you for the beautiful food.
I really appreciate it. I think it's really good. I think the main purpose of this was really want to get what would a queer Latino me 5 years ago would like to hear. Like, someone who's getting inspired, who doesn't know where he's going. I think it's very common for a lot of young people too. Like, you don't know where you're going, what to do with your life. You think this, and you change it, and you see social media, you see other people that what they're doing, you're comparing yourself. So what is something that can really get Luis to really be healthy, love himself. Because I think Luis before couldn't love himself, and probably same thing with you.
I mean, I think visualize your goals, visualize who you want to be, understand, and I always say this, I always say like, here the river brought you, it is here the river meant. And so it's like, trust the river of your life. Like, the next step will always present itself in the way that it should. And if you have a lot of lessons to learn along the way, like in my early 20s, I was like, I want to be big, I want people to know who I am, I want people to know my name. But I wasn't ready. Like, in life was like, girl, you're still getting fucked up and fucking hooking up with all these random ass dudes and fucking WeHo. Like, you're not ready. You know?
Yeah.
And the minute I kind of decided to change, the universe was like ready. So I think my advice to you and to me and to Jeffrey, 24-year-old, and 20-year-old over here, would be like, trust the river. You know, like it will take you exactly where you want to go at the pace that you should be going. And not to get all Disney's Pocahontas on you, but like, you know, steady as the beating drum. You know, like super just like, you'll get there. Don't worry. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Just keep going.
Be in your lane and make your lane shine so bright. Make it like, be so unique that other people notice you, that other people go, oh, I want to work with that person. Like, because if you're just gonna be a little potato and you're just like, I want to make it, like, no one's gonna remember you. No one's gonna. What's your thing? How am I gonna remember you? What am I gonna do? How are you gonna stand out from the crowd? And so use all of your talents, all of your gifts to stand out.
And how do you do that? How does someone find their light?
I think for me, like, you'll know that my brand is kindness and my brand is happiness. And so if you meet me, I will always make sure that you receive that from me. Like, that's really important to me. I think like what I love about you is that even though you're making us do these things that are, I don't want to say grueling because that makes it sound like it's bad, but like hard to do, you're very patient and you're very understanding and you're very empathic and you go with what my energy is giving you. Because some days I'll be like, I'm really low energy, and you'll be like, we're just gonna do like legs.
Stretching
and legs, you know what I mean?
Okay, a fun one. Okay, so just so how do you become a bad bitch for 2020?
A bad bitch for 2020?
Anyone.
Follow, like, and subscribe to Luis's channel, and he'll tell you how to do that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Awesome.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you for this beautiful breakfast.
It was good.
It was bomb.
It was good. We got lots of different.
You're gonna make a great husband, Lindsay.
Thank you.